Good afternoon, all of my former students. It is so good to imagine seeing you. I guess I'm not really seeing anybody, but it is so good to be able to still be in contact with you, and I really appreciate you even taking the time to open up this video. So, first things first, I'm sure many of you are wondering, Mrs. Kastner, it's October. What happened to your beginning of the year school email? Some of you have been waiting, or maybe some of you honestly forgot and were a little bit shocked, like, oh yeah, Mrs. Kastner usually sends an email. So, what happened? Well, school for me here was pretty crazy. The school year started, like normal, in August. However, I work at a private school, so the private school started before the public schools started. And we were already in session, already had started school, we were in our second week of school, and then the government made an announcement to postpone the public schools. This announcement was made because vaccines finally became available for students ages 12 to 17, so our middle school and high school kids. And the government decided to postpone the start of school so that high school kids could be vaccinated. So at first, we weren't really sure what to do, what this meant for our school because we had already started. But then, in the middle of a school day, we get an email basically saying school is canceled for 17 days, for the next 17 days. And so we were kind of surprised. We had already started, we were already in school for 2 weeks, and then we had a 17-day vacation. This is because, and it makes sense, the public schools students and parents complained because there was an equity issue, that if the public schools were suspended for a month, then the private schools should also be suspended so that their students weren't getting, or my students weren't getting, an extra month of education. So in the middle of the school day, all of a sudden, here I am making plans for tomorrow, and tomorrow doesn't happen. We have a 17-day break pretty much all of the month of September. So you may be wondering, Mrs. Kastner, what did you do for the month of September? Well, I'll tell you. Thankfully, my age group qualified to get a vaccine in August. Yes, finally in August, Morocco had enough vaccines for my age group. And so I was thankfully fully vaccinated, Mr. Kastner and we were able to travel outside of the country of Morocco for the first time since we've been here. So Mr. Kastner and I went to Spain for our vacation. We had a really great time. We were in Barcelona. We got to see some really cool things. It was really great news to see in Spain. A lot of safety procedures, even in the city, were being made. COVID's crazy everywhere, but it was fun. We got to go up to a little coastal city with some castles and some architecture still from centuries ago, which was really fun. It was Mr. Kastner's first time in Europe, which was really exciting for him and for me to see. And so I've included in the email some images from our trip to Spain. So, Mrs. Kastner, how's life in Morocco? Well, I'll tell you. I love Morocco. I love living abroad. I love meeting new people, seeing new cultures, being able to practice French, so that's been exciting for me. I've been able to practice almost daily using some of my French all the way from when I learned in high school. So kiddos in high school, taking languages, you never know when you might use it. It's actually been really helpful for me. Also, every day here is an adventure. Like the thing with the government, you never really know what to expect or what might happen. So I've been enjoying my time making friends with Moroccans, making friends with Americans, and it's been a really, really great experience culturally, learning about what it's like to live in another country and kind of having some of those struggles with communication or things like that are actually really great challenges to give me new perspective and to appreciate other cultures. One of the other great parts about living in Morocco is that I have been able to travel a lot within Morocco, actually. And so I included on my video for you quite a few different pictures from my experiences here. One of them was I moved this summer. I used to live in the city, and now I moved out to an area by the ocean. So one of the pictures that I included for you in the email is right from my house, so I can see the beach, I can see the water from my house, which is really exciting and really makes a difference in my day, being able to be that close to a calming presence of the ocean. Also, you will see that I left some pictures for you from some of my travels and some of my adventures here. One of the most recent ones was over the summer, my mom actually came to visit me, which was really exciting. And we got to do lots of things. We took a trip down south to Essaouira, which is known as the Windy City. Then we went towards the middle of Morocco, and we stayed in a tent and rode camels in the desert. Not in the Sahara like I did last year, but in a smaller desert called the Agafi Desert. My mom loved it. It was super fun. And then I took her north where things are much greener and there's forests and the ocean up near Tangiers. And then we stopped in Chefchaouen, which is known as the Blue City, because the whole city is painted blue. I left some pictures there for you to take a look at. It was really, really fun, really special. And right outside of that town is actually a beautiful mountain river full of pools and waterfalls of crystal clear blue water, which was really exciting and really fun to take my mom. And so she was able to get the waterfalls, get the blue city, get the ocean, and also to experience the desert at the same time. Now, if you've been looking at the pictures in the email, you also have seen some pictures of dogs and cats. So many of you might remember my kitty cat Rue that I got 3 years ago now, I think it was. We still love Rue very much. We actually got a second cat named Mags during the pandemic in the United States. And then we adopted a Moroccan kitty. Her name is Biscuit, or in French we say Biscuit. And we adopted her kind of by accident. I found her. Well, first of all, there's lots and lots of stray animals here, dogs and cats both, which reminds me actually of a few of your passion projects, if I remember correctly. Bring your ideas to Morocco. We need them. And so I found her over by the garbage cans in the neighborhood, over by the dumpsters, and something special about her was that she was injured. And so because of that injury, I took her in. I told Mr. Kastner we can let her stay in our yard now that we have a yard, and she can be safe from the dogs while she recovers from her injury. Well, that quickly turned into Biscuit being allowed into the house. Our hearts melted, of course, and now we have not one, not two, but 3 cats. But for you dog lovers out there, do not be concerned because we also have a band of dogs that love us. They live on our street, and everyone from the neighborhood kind of adopts them and feeds them and watches over them. And so we have 3 dogs on our street that absolutely love us, and they follow us around everywhere, and they're wonderful. But in my life, one of them just had puppies 2 weeks ago, and so we have a bunch of puppies, and we have a recent addition where 6 more dogs just joined the pack recently. So we have our kitties in the inside, we have our puppies outside, we have animals every day as part of our lives here. And the last part, I'll try to keep this under 10 minutes. If you're still watching, shout out to you. Thank you. The last part is, how is school going? Well, besides having to start over, this is now the completion of our 2nd week back in school after our surprise 2nd summer. But school is going fantastic. I am teaching all of sophomore English. I actually love teaching high school. I'm teaching an IB English class for juniors and then an IB English class for seniors. IB is called International Baccalaureate, so it's kind of like similar to AP where students have their testing and then they submit their test to IB, kind of like AP. So I'm teaching 3 different subject levels this year, but of course my students, as always, are focusing on our team qualities, and I've been having a really, really enjoyable time with them this year. So I'm super happy. Teaching is stressful, like always. You're in a pandemic, things are changing all of the time, but I'm really happy to be here. I think about you all the time, and I really mean that. I do think about you guys all the time. I tell stories to my students here, and I would love maybe to do some international pen pal type stuff, but for now, this is my update, and I cannot wait to hear about your life, your updates, what's exciting, what's going on, new pets, new friends, new relationships. What do you have? Let me know, and I'll respond as soon as I can. Thank you. It is so good to be able to talk to you, virtually, of course.